You did at least 3 of these today, and every one of them is quietly destroying your car while you smile and drive. I'm not talking about potholes or skipping oil changes. Everybody knows those. I'm talking about the silent habits 99% of drivers do every single day without a clue. The ones that turn a $40 part into a $4,000 repair. Mechanics see these every single week and just shake their heads because you would never guess these were a problem. And number 1, you are almost certainly guilty of it right now, every single time you park. So before it costs you, let's count down 12 secret habits that are wrecking your car, starting with one most people don't even realize they're doing. Let's start with one that feels responsible but isn't. A lot of cautious drivers like to keep their left foot hovering on the brake pedal, ready to slam it the second anything happens. Feels safe, right? Here's what's actually happening. Even the lightest pressure keeps your brake pads kissing the rotors while you're rolling. That means constant friction, constant heat, and pads and rotors wearing down far faster than they should. Plus, the heat slowly cooks your brake fluid and reduces your real stopping power. So the safety habit is quietly making your brakes worse at stopping. The pro tip: left foot stays on the dead pedal, the footrest to the left. One foot does the gas and the brake. The way the car was engineered. Your next brake job will come thousands of miles later. Now the next one is something you probably do every cold morning. It's a freezing morning, you start the car, give it a few revs and floor it to get going. Totally normal, and it's grinding years off your engine. Here's why. After sitting overnight, most of the oil has drained into the pan. For the first several seconds, the parts up top run, with barely any lubrication. Rev it hard in that window, and you're forcing metal onto metal before the oil pump gets protection up there. Do it daily for years, and you're accelerating wear on the most expensive component in the car. The pro tip is beautifully simple. Start it. Give it 10 to 20 seconds of gentle idle and drive off softly for the first minute or two. No redline until the temperature needle lifts off cold. Speaking of how you drive in those first minutes, the next habit is hiding in your gear selection. This one is almost invisible, and that's exactly why it's dangerous. Lugging is when you're in too high a gear for your speed, low RPM, but you stomp the accelerator to get power anyway. People do it thinking they're saving fuel. Here's the reality. At very low RPM under heavy load, your engine is straining like you trying to sprint uphill in slow motion. The cylinders fire under pressure they're not built for at that speed. And on many engines, this causes knock, a damaging mini explosion that hammers your pistons and bearings over time. The pro tip: if you press the gas and the car shudders, groans, or hesitates instead of smoothly pulling, you're in too high a gear. Downshift, or if you're automatic, ease off and let it pick the right gear before you demand power. Keep the engine in its comfortable range. Now, here's one drivers do on every hill, and think it's clever. Tons of people slip the car into neutral going downhill, convinced they're saving gas by letting it roll free. It's one of the most confidently wrong habits out there. 2 problems. First, the fuel savings are a myth on any modern fuel-injected car. When you coast downhill in gear with your foot off the gas, the engine often cuts fuel to the cylinders almost completely, so you're already barely using anything. Pop it into neutral, and the engine has to keep idling on actual fuel to stay alive, so neutral can literally burn more. Second, and more important, in neutral, you've thrown away engine braking. Now your brakes carry the entire job of controlling your speed down that hill, and on a long descent they overheat and fade, exactly when you need them most. The pro tip: stay in gear going downhill, let the engine help slow you, and save your brakes for emergencies. Next up is a habit so comfortable you don't even notice you're doing it. Look in your trunk right now. Forgotten tools, old gym gear, a box you keep meaning to drop off. Here's the quiet cost. Every extra pound is weight your engine hauls everywhere, which directly burns more fuel, month after month. Real money leaking out of your tank. And it's not just fuel. Constant extra weight strains your suspension, tires, and brakes, wearing them faster. You're paying a tax to drive your clutter around town. The pro tip: take 10 minutes this weekend and clear out everything you don't need on board. Keep the essentials, spare, jack, basic emergency kit, and ditch the rest. Your wallet at the pump will notice. Now this next one happens every time you pull into a tight parking spot. You're parking, you crank the wheel all the way to the stop. Full lock and hold it there. Feels like nothing. But when you hold the wheel hard against its maximum, your power steering system is pushing against a hard stop, building maximum pressure with nowhere to go. On hydraulic systems especially, that spikes pressure and heat in the power steering pump, and holding it there repeatedly wears the pump out early. The pro tip: once you've turned to full lock, back the wheel off just a hair. Even a quarter inch off the stop releases that pressure. And don't sit there parked with the wheels cranked hard over for ages. Small change, longer lasting steering. This next one is the classic "I had no idea" habit. Be honest, when you drive, does one hand just naturally rest on top of the gear shifter? Almost everybody does it. It feels relaxed and natural, and it's one of the most documented secret damage habits there is. Here's the mechanism. That shifter is connected down into the transmission to a part called the selector fork, which is only designed to make contact briefly, for the half second it takes to change gear. When you rest your hand on the shifter, you're applying constant light pressure to that fork, pressing it against spinning components it's not supposed to touch continuously. Over time, that's premature wear inside your transmission, one of the priciest repairs on the car. It's worst on manuals, but the principle applies to shift linkages in general. The pro tip is dead simple: hand goes on the wheel, or rest your arm on the armrest. Touch the shifter only when you're actually shifting. Now we're getting into the genuinely expensive territory. The next four cost the most. The pump clicks off, but you want a round number, so you squeeze in a little more. Almost everyone does this, and it's damaging an expensive system. Your car's evaporative emissions system has a charcoal canister designed to capture fuel vapors, not liquid fuel. That click means the tank is full. Force more in, and you can push raw liquid gas into the canister and vapor lines, damaging parts that cost hundreds to replace, and often triggering a check engine light too. The pro tip: when the pump clicks, you're done. Hang the nozzle up. No topping off. Ever. That click is engineered protection, not a suggestion. The next one is one of the most damaging things you can do in an automatic. You're pulling into a parking spot or doing a three-point turn, and you slam it from drive to reverse, or reverse to drive, while the car's still creeping. Saves a second, right? Here's the damage. In an automatic, the transmission is still spinning in one direction when you suddenly command the opposite. Instead of your brakes absorbing that, your transmission's internal bands and clutches take the hit, forced to stop and reverse all that motion. Brakes are cheap, serviceable parts. Transmission internals are thousands of dollars and labor-intensive to fix. You're trading a $50 job for a $4,000 one to save half a second. The pro tip: come to a complete, full stop, car not moving at all, before you shift between drive and reverse. Every single time. Now the top three, and these are the ones that strand people. Most people treat every check engine light the same, a vague deal with it later annoyance. But here's the secret almost nobody knows. There's a huge difference between a steady light and a flashing one. A steady check engine light means get it looked at soon, usually not an emergency. A flashing check engine light means something is actively damaging your car right now. Most commonly, a serious engine misfire dumping raw, unburned fuel straight into your catalytic converter. And that catalytic converter, it's one of the most expensive single parts on your vehicle, easily over $1,000. Drive on a flashing light, and you can destroy it in minutes. The pro tip, steady light, book a diagnostic soon. Flashing light, reduce power, stop driving hard, and get it checked immediately. Pull over if you can. Knowing that one difference can save you thousands. The next one quietly kills a part that leaves you stranded. That little habit of driving until the gas light's been on for 30 miles, riding E like a daily game, it's slowly killing your fuel pump. Here's the part most drivers have no idea about. Your fuel pump actually uses the gasoline around it as a coolant and a lubricant. It's designed to sit submerged in fuel. When you constantly run the tank down near empty, you expose the pump, it runs hotter, and it works harder, shortening its life. On top of that, dirt and sediment settle at the very bottom of the tank. And running on fumes means your pump is sucking up that gunk and pushing it into your system. A fuel pump replacement is a serious, expensive job, and it usually dies at the worst possible moment, leaving you stranded on the side of the road. The pro tip, try to refuel when you hit about a quarter tank. Keep fuel around that pump, and you can add years to its life. And now, number 1, the habit you do every time you park, that 99% of automatic drivers get wrong. Here it is. If you drive an automatic and you only ever throw it in park and walk away, never touching the parking brake, this is for you, and it's the one almost nobody understands. Here's the shocking part. When you put an automatic in park, the entire weight of your car is being held by a single small metal pin inside your transmission called the parking pawl. It is roughly the size of your pinky finger. That tiny pin is all that's stopping your car from rolling, especially on any kind of slope. Every time you park on an incline using only park, you're putting the full strain of your car on that one little component, and over time you can wear or even shear it, leading to a transmission repair. The parking brake exists specifically to take that load off the pawl. The pro tip, and this is the order that matters, come to a complete stop, apply the parking brake first, then shift into park. That way the brake holds the car, not the pinky-sized pin. Do this every time, and you protect your transmission for the life of the car. It costs you 1 second and saves you a fortune. So there you have it, 12 secret habits that 99% of drivers do without ever realizing the damage. And here's the thing, not one of these requires a mechanic, a tool, or $1 to fix. They're all just small changes in how you drive and park, starting today. The parking brake one alone could save you a transmission. So tell me in the comments, how many of these 12 were you guilty of? Be honest, I won't judge, because I've done half of them myself. If even one of these saved you from an expensive repair down the road, do me a favor and hit that like button. It genuinely helps the channel. And subscribe, because next time I'm breaking down the maintenance myths that mechanics secretly wish you'd stop believing. Some of these you've trusted your whole life. I'll see you in that one.